about the 4 intimacies. A while back, when I was in the Philippines, actually 2001, 2, something like that, I started a master's in counseling, as Pastor Bob alluded to. And that was fine and dandy. I did most of the coursework, and I did some coursework at Taylor. And then I needed to work on this 200 hours of counseling, which I tried all sorts of things. I tried with Terry Peterman. I tried phoning the helplines. I tried all sorts of places. Finally, Mom said, well, just start helping your friends and just get Pastor Bob to make a signature and collect your hours. And part of the hours can be seminars. So I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just dig up one of my paperwork or something that I did in the college, and I can present it to you. So what a great day for Valentine's Day to start talk about the 4 intimacies of relationships and what they comprise of. So I got to preface this. Have any of you seen the movie The Ultimate Gift? I don't know if it was a movie. There's a book out about it as well. A series of a guy that gets an inheritance from a dead uncle or whatever, a grandfather actually, and he's waiting for his millions and whatnot, and his grandfather makes him go through all these things. Well, that book actually inspired me to write books, because I thought, wow, this is so neat. There's so much packaged in here, because it talked about what are your dreams, what are your passions, and I guess one of them potentially might be to write. So I wrote a couple of books while I was in New Zealand. So it was kind of a neat place in my life where I, was by myself. I was with Lori, but, she's married, so I was by myself. And then I could think of all these thoughts and stuff. So I wrote this book, or conjured up this book about the 4 intimacies. Because potentially I think I was looking for intimacy. Maybe that's why I wrote this. So I described it. So there's 4 intimacies in a relationship. There's a physical element to intimacy, an emotional intimacy, friendship intimacy, and a spiritual intimacy. We'll sort of go through all of these. As a way of introduction, I got a quote. I don't know if I stole this, made it, or where it came from, but relationships are the most important possession we hold. Now, this doesn't sound grammatically correct, okay? You can't own a possession. It's not like a relationship, like something you buy, right? But I thought, well, it's actually pretty good, because in North America, we're stuck with this sort of, I need to buy this, I need to buy that, like it's all about possessions, ownership, and whatnot. So I thought, well, in this society, in this, our backdrop, possessions, relationships is the most important possession. You can buy new houses, new cars, new, doodads or whatever you want, but relationships are really what makes you happy and fulfilled. So relationships, therefore, are the most important things in our lives. And the quality of these relationships, the way our life runs, is a mirror image of these relationships. Like if we're having a great day, oftentimes it's because we have great relationships. We had great talk or a chat or a connection with another human being. So we all look for these type of relationships. We're meant to have these relationships. We are relational beings. God created us to be amongst each other and to relate to each other. So the truth is, we desire to have healthy relationships and vibrant ones. So what are the keys to these relationships? So obviously that's the 4 intimacies part. It's for your mate, but it's also for every other relationship that you have. So you remember when you were in the sandbox, and I still remember some imagery that comes to mind when I think of me in a sandbox, building highways and driving my cars through and making overpasses and underpasses and stuff. And who was around you? Well, the neighbor's kid, some other kid, people you don't even know, but you're in the sandbox together and you're having a relationship. You're in friendship with each other. So friendship and relationships is as easy as just being next to each other and interrelating with the next human being. So I got a story for you. I was at Royal Bank in Toronto, and we went to, I guess it was Sandbanks camping ground. So we were sitting under the campfire, and the alcohol was coming out, and so were all the inhibitions, and we talk about everything or anything in the world, and it's a starry night, and you get a little more philosophical, and you're sitting around and talking about things. And the topic of relationships came up. So I piped up. I said, oh, did you know that there's 4 parts to a relationship? There's friendship, physical, emotional, and spiritual. And my friends are like, oh, okay. To my surprise, they're like, well, continue with that. Describe a little more of that. I said, oh, okay, sure. So we went on to describe, that these different relationships. And I told them that most relationships maybe don't have like all these intimacies, like the video discussed, the spiritual ones. So if you're among unchurched people, they don't even know that exists, right? So we talked a little bit about that, and then I said, you only need 2 maybe to get by. And they're like, oh, you only need the physical and the friendship. Good enough, okay, shut up, we're done talking to you, right? And I said, well, imagine a 4-cylinder car driving on 2 cylinders. So you can probably function, but it won't function for that far. It won't go that far. It won't be, what it's designed to be. So put that thought in their mind to say that, no, we are actually creatures that need all these type of intimacies, and we don't function well. Our relationships don't function well with all of them. So while I was in New Zealand, I pulled up some statistics for this, and I read about this. And apparently when I was there, the quote that I found, or some of the research, was 68% of their marriages fail. I thought, wow, that's more than horrible than North America. That's pretty terrible. And North America is about 50-50 too, somewhere around there. But that's pretty bad odds for a life partner, someone you want to spend your life with, and someone you see every day, you sleep with, you eat with. That's it. I said, wow, that's pretty dismal odds. And marriages based on these intimacies, more intimacies, would have a better success rate. Now, of course, I'm preaching to the choir here, because we know that there's God and there's a spiritual intimacy. But this book primarily was for the unchurched people. I was, presenting it to people. So I'm going to develop ideas to point towards that last intimacy, which is spiritual intimacy. So start off with the physical intimacy. Well, this one has gotten a lot of attention by Hollywood. It's grossly misunderstood. Think, oh, wow, that's all you need. We went all the way as if that was it. We hit the pinnacle of our relationship. Well, that's only one intimacy, right? So it's based on our 5 senses, what we smell, what we touch, taste, all those things. What we look like, what we smell like, or, what we're wearing, like all these things go along with that. The animal kingdom showcases this quite well. So if you take a look at the animals when they're in mating season, or I guess the peacock is a good example, when he's trying to attract his mate. Wow, is that ever beautiful? Like, it's phenomenal. It's really beautiful to watch, the animal kingdom as they try and relate to each other on this intimacy. So intimacy is very powerful, and I liken it to a spark or explosion. Good example of this is, you're walking down the street or something like that, and you're a happy, fulfilled person in marriage, and you got the intimacies going on, and somebody with revealing clothing walks by, and whoa, already your eyes are, you're glued to the set. What's happening there? And then she goes around the corner, and in an instant, the intimacy's gone. It's like, well, what happened? Oh, okay, that was it. So it's like, oh, and then nothing. So it's like a big gas explosion and nothing. But it is a very important intimacy because it acts as an attractor. I think without this, possibly men would just sit on the couch and watch TV and eat potato chips all day. I think I'll just do this. Until sort of the beautiful form of the beautiful, female form or females come out. I wrote a note here. I won't touch too much on this. I wrote a little bit more on this in the book, but a word to men that we have to be aware of this and fully own this desire. So it runs on our biology, like our hormones and stuff like that, and we just have to know it's there. The Bible talks about flee temptation. So if you see this girl walking down the street, and your eyes are prone to look, well, that's fine, but make sure when she goes around the corner that you don't follow her. Like, you can flee temptation, but if you don't, then you go on to lust, which is, I think it describes that in James, I believe it is, So we're tempted, but then, okay, leave it at that. So the woman attracts you on a physical level. Physical intimacy is built intimacy, but then as soon as she goes around the corner, it's gone, right? No more attention.